Non, mais d'abord, c'est un résultat extrêmement important pour le peuple grec, qui va redonner un rapport de force à M. Tsipras pour pouvoir revenir à la table des négociations avec le fait de pouvoir lier la sortie de crise au règlement du problème de la dette, car c'est ça la question centrale. Deuxième élément, c'est une excellente nouvelle pour tous les Européens, pour deux raisons. La première, c'est qu'elle remet l'élément démocratique dans le débat européen, c'est-à-dire que cette idée qui traînait chez les dirigeants de la droite européenne que les gouvernements pouvaient changer et que les politiques devaient rester les mêmes, là est battue en brèche. Et deuxième élément, ça pose aussi maintenant la question progressivement d'avoir une politique alternative en Europe, parce que la politique qui a échoué en Grèce et dont a hérité M. Tsipras, c'est une politique qui échoue globalement en Europe, avec une croissance molle, un chômage qui augmente partout, et donc c'est ça la question qui est posée. Et je dirais que ce soir, il y a un gagnant, ce sont les Européens, une grande perdante qui est Mme Merkel, assurément, et c'est Mme Merkel et ses assistants, que sont M. Juncker, que sont le président de l'Eurogroupe, voilà, et il y a une responsabilité très importante maintenant qui pèse sur les épaules du président de la République française, puisque François Hollande a semblé avoir un avis différent d'Angela Merkel, ce dont moi je me réjouis. Maintenant, demain, il doit prendre l'initiative. La France est le deuxième pays de l'Union européenne, elle pèse. Je veux dire, la victoire du non, c'est une défaite de Mme Merkel. Et maintenant, François Hollande doit reprendre l'initiative et doit reposer le seul débat qui compte, car il faut sortir de la crise maintenant par un accord assez rapidement, c'est la question de la résolution de la dette. C'est ce que tout le monde dit, c'est ce que dit le Krugman, ce que dit Stiglitz, c'est ce que disent tous les gens un peu sensés, qui ne sont pas des idéologues libéraux jusqu'au boutistes.
Discussion with Kostas Lapavitsis about the crisis in Greece post-referendum, where 61% of Greeks who voted said no to the austerity package proposed by Europe. And joining us again now from his constituency in Greek Macedonia, that's northern Greece, is Kostas Lapavitsis. He's a professor of economics at the University of London School of Oriental and African Studies, and he co-authored the book Against the Troika with Heiner Flassbeck. Thanks for joining us again, Kostas.
Nice to be with you.
The stock markets are not going crazy, at least not as of the moment we're doing this interview. We hear talk, the effect on the euro has been factored in already. There doesn't seem to be a great alarm about possible contagion, as they call it, the ripple effect across finance around the world. What do you make of the significance of the defaults, and if there is no deal? And do you think part of this, and I know it doesn't seem to have had that much attention, but I can't imagine the U.S. government and the Fed are just sitting there. Has the Fed decided they're simply going to back the euro and let Greece take its punishment or its lesson?
I don't know what the Fed are doing, but the U.S. government certainly have been very heavily involved because they're worried about the economic consequences, but also the geopolitical consequences. They're very concerned about that. There is a lot of geopolitics in this, to do with Russia, to do with China, to do with the Eastern Mediterranean generally, and obviously the US government is deeply concerned about this. Now, in terms of the markets, I've never said that Greek chaos or Greek unrest was likely to cause a disaster in global markets now. This would have happened in 2010. That was the time when Greece could really have wielded a lot of power in its interests, because the global banks were exposed to Greece, because the European Union was not prepared for crisis and so on. But Greece didn't. It imposed a terrible situation on its own people, and it allowed the lenders to strengthen their own position. So things are very different now. The Greek banks are not connected to the European banking system very heavily. European banks are not exposed to Greek debt. So even if Greece defaults, or even if it exits the euro, the immediate impact will not be that dramatic. But the moral impact will be very great, because don't forget, the euro is supposed to be an irreversible currency. If Greece defaults and makes its way to the exit eventually, it will have been shown that the euro is very much reversible. Considering that the euro is a sick currency, the European Monetary Union is a diseased union, then that would be a very powerful event with demonstration effects down the line.
You had three things, sort of radical measures the Syriza government should do. It started with nationalizing the banks. Just flesh that out a bit. What does that look like?
Greek banks at the moment have got majority public ownership, share ownership. But their shares are not common stock, and therefore they haven't got voting rights. So we've got the charade here, a sham, whereby the capital of the banks is owned by the public, overwhelmingly, but the management is basically private, and the people who run the banks are basically the people who ruin the banks, by and large. These people don't see eye to eye with the government, and they're not making it easier for the government to implement its own policy. So what we need immediately is intervention and a normalization of the operations of the banks to the degree to which it can be normalized. Obviously, there's very little liquidity, but there's no reason why the banks could not start doing more banking transactions, even behind closed doors. There is no reason why the banks could not facilitate some fairly normal economic activity, even if there are capital controls and banking controls. So we need to nationalize the banks effectively, and we need to operate very quickly to start having some banking activity in the economy once again, to unblock the markets.
And what do they do? What happens in the short term? I heard on the radio last night that some of the ATM machines at the banks where people are supposed to be able to get their 60 euros a day out are out of euros. That the banks, the actual machines and banks are running out of actual cash.
Yeah, cash is a big problem. It's unfortunate. The state and Syriza should have been better prepared. But such is life. This was done when the banknote stock within the banks was very low. The European Union is not providing new banknotes. We will know what Mr. Draghi will do today of the European Central Bank. If that's the situation, then the state needs to start paying with other means of payment, denominated in euros maybe. Not banknotes, which we cannot create, but other means of payment. That's an option.
But will people, I mean, people have to have faith in whatever the document is, and if it's in euros and people think, well, there won't be any more euros, then what effect will the documents have?
Well, obviously, that's a problematic situation. That's exactly why you need to nationalize the banks, and that's why you need to prepare the economy for a difficult ride. That's what I'm telling you. This is not an easy time. The Greek people have said no. That means that they are ready for whatever is going to come their way. Well, that's what's going to come their way, probably. They've got to be ready for that.
Well, again, so that comes back to the second point, which is the media. There's been such a propaganda war, and it's really remarkable how ineffective the private media was in swaying the vote over to the yes side. It's really remarkable. I don't know, another country where you've had such a media barrage and people were not taken in by it. But from what you said last time, one, there's the issue of the money the private media owes the government. Does that mean if they don't pay that you would then close them down?
What I do know for sure is that the Greek people want a settlement of the media situation at the moment. They detest the current regime. They detest the fact that the media is in the hands of a small group of oligarchs who want the old regime to come back. They're desperate for a change, and the anger is palpable. So there are ways of dealing with the legal issues, and they should be mobilized very quickly. That doesn't mean shutting down these stations, but if they've got obligations, they should be called upon to pay them.
I mean, and one thing you could do with the payments, I suppose, is strengthen the public broadcaster.
That goes without saying. The public broadcaster must be strengthened immediately. The public broadcaster is very important right now. So, but in addition to that, the Greek people want action to be taken with regard to the oligarchs, the small band of rich people who control big business in Greece, who are perceived to be corrupt, very closely connected to the state, taking advantage of public procurement and enriching themselves in all sorts of devious ways. The Greek people want action there, and Syriza has been very slow.
Do you or does the Greek government know how many euros the Greek elite is sitting on? I mean, in Greek banks, one would think there's a lot of euros that belong to the oligarchs that you're talking about.
I don't know. The oligarchs will have moved a lot of their money out of the country. They've been very good at that. But my sense is that if one started probing into the banking system properly, with a good group of civil servants, with a lot of power to open the bank books, because that's what's missing. That's what proper nationalization means. I am sure that we will discover even banknotes that are not used. So and therefore we'll be able to put them in the ATMs for a period. We need to take over the banks as quickly as possible. That's priority. Take over the banks, open the books, see what the bankers have been doing, because I'm sure that the bankers are the enemy of this government, and I'm sure that they're not telling the truth. That's absolute priority, and we need to move quickly in the coming days. It's a matter of survival now.
C'est aux autorités grecques de dire de manière la plus claire comment elles souhaitent agir pour éviter le scénario du pire, un scénario dont nous ne voulons pas. Je présenterai au nom de la Commission les solutions techniques qui sont possibles. Il y en a, mais encore une fois, la balle est d'abord dans le camp des autorités grecques. Je veux saluer la déclaration des familles politiques grecques hier unies, presque toutes, à l'exception de celle qui ne doit pas être unie. Je pense que c'est aller dans ce sens-là qui est nécessaire et nous allons y travailler.
Si on continue à pousser la Grèce vers la banqueroute, eh bien, il faudra que la France et l'Allemagne, du fait des traités, épongent les dettes qui seront directement répercutées sur le mécanisme européen de stabilité financière. Donc je ne crois pas beaucoup aux gesticulations un peu scrogneugneux auxquels nous assistons. Ils font tous bonne figure, ils ont subi une humiliante déroute en Grèce qui leur montre que l'Europe entière ne supporte plus ce genre de traitement. Car les gens savent bien que tout ça est une comédie, ça a été provoqué de manière délibérée pour essayer de faire tomber le gouvernement de Tsipras. C'est raté, maintenant il faut passer aux choses sérieuses. Mais c'est pas à Tsipras d'être sérieux, il l'a toujours été, le malheureux. C'est à Madame Merkel d'essayer de le devenir.
Elle est plus là. Elle est plus là. Elle est plus là, la troïka. Et qu'est-ce qui glande? Et qu'est-ce qui glande? Et qu'est-ce qui glande, François Hollande? Résistance! Résistance!